Now, this is the type of news that make me very happy to get back here and talk about UFC. Hello, guys. It's been a few months. It's been a little while. Do we care? Do we care about what's going on? It doesn't matter. I'm in a new spot, new little setup. Let me know if y'all fuck with it. Y'all probably seen this before. This is what just popped out. Yes, Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. I've been meaning to make some videos. I swear to God I have. All right, pinky promise. And I wanted to make a video actually about this Volkanovski versus Topuria thing, where I was like, they're doing my boy Lopez wrong. I was like, Lopez has earned his shots, and if anything should get a shot, it should be Lopez and not Volkanovski. I don't know how you guys feel about this whole situation. I know there's a lot of Volk fan, and listen, I love Volk, all right? He's not my favorite fighter or anything like that, but I love him, and I think, he has a great legacy, the greatest featherweight of all time probably. But he's lost a lot of fights recently. He's lost to Makhachev 1, Makhachev 2, Topuria. How many shots are we giving him? You know what I mean? And there's this guy, Lopez, where, if Volkanovski was getting that shot under different circumstances when there wasn't a clear number one contender in Lopez, I'd be like, might as well. There's nobody else. Like flyweights, they give the champion a million different rematches. Fair enough. But in this case where we have Diego Lopez, who's been absolutely dominant, you know what I mean, taking short notice fights, I find it weird that Volkanovski was getting the shot. Now, Topuria is vacating the belt, so it takes away the issue. It removes the problem entirely. But I'm very, very happy for Lopez to finally get his shot. Volkanovski get his shot, so everybody seems to be happy. Now, this fight is going to be dangerous, man. This fight is going to be dangerous because I don't know if some of y'all are underestimating Diego Lopez's skills. Like we talked about Topuria and stuff. That's the fight that I wanted to see. Diego Lopez versus Ilia Topuria was the fight to make. And for Topuria to vacate the belt before getting like a taste of the new up-and-coming guys, it pisses me off, man. It rubs me the wrong way. I don't know about you guys, but I understand, you know what I mean? He fought Volk. He beat Max Holloway, two legends, the two biggest names at 145 of all time probably. But I feel like looking back, when we'll look back at the legacy of Topuria at 145, we'll be like, there was this one guy, this up-and-coming rising prospect that he decided to avoid. He did not fight that one guy, especially if Lopez gets on a crazy run. It's going to be like, was he a legitimate champion? And there's always going to be that question. In my mind, that was the fight to make. Diego Lopez, up-and-coming rising contender on an absolute tear at 145. He's been dominant. And not only has he been dominant, he's been active, taking every single fight that they offered him. You know what I mean? Took Dan Ige on a day's notice, on a few hours' notice. I mean, that's a BMF. You know what I mean? That's what a BMF is. And for me, Diego Lopez deserved that shot. I'm very happy he gets it. It's going to be a tough night for Volkanovski. If I'm being honest, if I was a betting man, I just don't see a way for Volk to win this. I really don't. I think Lopez on the feet is faster. He's more powerful. He's more dynamic. He mixes it up better. And on the ground, he's also a threat everywhere. You know what I mean? He's not the type of guy that'll, stick on top of you. But that's not what's going to get Volkanovski to budge either way. Because he fought Islam Makhachev, the type of guy that would have a lot of ground control. Lopez is not that type of guy, right? He'll find a submission quick. He's twitchy, and then anytime they're in a scramble, he's dangerous. So that type of guy is, very dangerous for Volkanovski. And like I said, in every realm of mixed martial arts, I don't see a way for Volk to win this. It might just be experience. It might just be getting Lopez tired out in the third and fourth round. But if I were to bet, I'd probably go Lopez. We'll have to see, for the predictions when it comes down to it. But early predictions, I'll probably go Lopez. They also announced a few other fights. Paddy Pimblett versus Michael Chandler at UFC 314. I mean, 314 is looking like a great card, to be honest. Like, it's setting up to be something great. I saw there was a few others. Let me look it up just to make sure. Because I think 314 is stacked. They always stack up Miami cards. They always do. They never disappoint. Let me just look it up real quick. I think there was... who else? Yair. Yeah, Yair is fighting on that card too. That's crazy. That's not it, but they don't show it on Google though. I to go on the UFC webpage. Let me see. There's a bunch of cards. Yeah, I'll put it up right here. I don't know if you guys will see this, but Jeff Neal and Carlos Prates is on that card as well. Nikita Krylov and Dominic Reyes, Yan Xiaonan and Virna Jandiroba, Darren Elkins, Jim Miller, and Chase Hoopers. I mean, it's a stacked card. Dan Ige, it's a stacked card. Is Yair on that one? Because on Google it says Yair Rodriguez is fighting on UFC 314. I'm not sure if it's, you know, that pay-per-view card, but either way, that UFC 314 pay-per-view card is looking stacked. And I'm glad they didn't give Michael Chandler, because at first it was supposed to be, I think there was some rumors about Arman Tsarukyan and Chandler. I'm glad. I think we can all agree Chandler has been given way too many shots. Like, bro, I make videos on the UFC, you know, and like the UFC and Dana White is giving me way too many fucking chances to rub them down. And like, why is one guy getting so many opportunities and not another? Like, bro, I made a video way back called The Dana White Privilege and Curse. And, bro, it couldn't be more truer. Like, still to this day, you could just tell there's certain guys that the UFC prioritize. For what? I don't know. I mean, Chandler is not Diego Lopez. He's not that type of fighter. He's entertaining. He's fun, but he's 38 years old, about to be retired. Like, why are we pushing him to get contender fights over and over again? So I'm glad for the first time in his UFC career, Michael Chandler is getting a step down in the rankings for the first time ever. And, you know, Paddy Pimblett is a good guy. I mean, they want to like push him, and Paddy Pimblett is like on a great run as well. He's a dangerous fighter. As much as people dislike him or whatever, he's very dangerous, and he proved that in his last fight against Bobby Green. On the ground, he's dangerous. On the feet, decent. It's gonna be interesting because Chandler is definitely a good wrestler. I don't think Chandler can get caught in submissions. I don't think so. I mean, he was with Charles Oliveira for a while and just never got caught. But he did get caught with, you know, a fucking rear naked choke by Dustin Poirier. So you never know with Chandler. He's a bit unpredictable. Michael Chandler is probably the most unpredictable fighter on the roster. But that's an interesting style. If I were to predict, I'd probably go. Oh my God, it's kind of hard. But I'd probably go Pimblett by decision. You know, maybe Chandler clips him a few times. Hopefully Pimblett just learns head movement and keeping his chin tucked just a little bit. You know what I mean? Not getting, because Chandler hits. You know what I mean? He hits hard, and he's happy to brawl with you. So, I'm just hoping that Paddy Pimblett, you know, has somewhat of a striking defense on point for that fight. And if he does, I think he can pick him apart at range, and then maybe, you know, threaten with submissions. It's going to be interesting though. I have to think about this fight. It's going to be tough because Chandler, even in his last fight, he showed that dog, and he still has it. So, but that's not even it. So Dana White also announced UFC 315 in Montreal. Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena. You know, funny enough, guys, long story short, I am from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and there's a lot of friends of mine that sent me this event when the news was, you know, just got out that the UFC was coming to Montreal. And I was like, every single time they come to Canada, they put this trash cards. They always have these trash main events. What was it in Vancouver? I remember at one, I think it was last year, the year before that, it was Nunes and Aldana for the main event. And then it was Sean Strickland and another dude, Duplessis. Probably the first fight was in Canada last year. And now it's Belal Muhammad. Like, you know, oh my God. If it was against Shavkat Rakhmonov, I would be like, yo, the aura is like, even though Shavkat had a bad fight in his last fight, it's still Rakhmonov. You know what I mean? So there's still somewhat of an intrigue with this guy. Jack Della Maddalena, I love him. He's a great fighter. But for that fight to be headlining it and this being the co-main event, UFC, what's up, man? Do you not like Canada? Like, what is this? Then you guys want me to pay fucking $800 to watch this fucking pay-per-view card? What are we doing here? Listen, I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of a meme, bro. It's kind of funny, bro. I make fun. I kind of have to laugh about this just because for the first time since GSP days, it's been probably 10 years since they've came to Montreal. And the fight that they're putting on in my city is Belal Muhammad. Bro. I mean, it is what it is. Probably Bilal's going to win. Good wrestling. Jack is just not... I mean, he's good, but is he well-rounded enough to beat Belal? I don't know. Jack has some chances, but I would have liked to see Jack versus Leon. We'll talk about that later on, but like that was a cool stylistic matchup. And you know, the two fights that they put on, Belal and Jack and Leon and Sean Brady, are kind of like mismatch a little bit, and I think the wrestlers are probably going to win in those matchups. Belal is able to mix it up much better than Jack, and probably going to take him down a few times. And then we have this as the co-main event. Why aren't they doing Valentina and Yan and Zhang Weili? What the fuck? I can't say the Chinese name. Zhang Weili. I was mixing it up with Yan Xiaonan, but why aren't they? What are they waiting for? There's been a lack of interest with women's MMA for a while, and you know, there's finally a time where like the two champions, 2 pound for pound queen of women's MMA right now are like could be potentially fighting. I feel like it was the fight to make. Weili Zhang has nobody else to fight at strawweight, and Valentina Shevchenko also. I feel like she's been on a downfall a little bit. Valentina Shevchenko, obviously she won her last fight against Grosso, but you know, she hasn't been like the dominant champion she was a few years back. So you're taking a risk every time you're matching her up, and you kind of, like I said, you're risking the big money fight with Zhang Weili instead you're putting up Fioro for her. So I feel like it was the time to make it, but you know, they decide, they do what they want to do. Sometimes I don't even question it. And then Edwards versus Brady is official as well. Instead of Jack, it's going to be Brady. Like I said, I think that's a tougher matchup for Edwards just because of the mixing up and the wrestling style. You know, Sean Brady to me is kind of similar to Belal Muhammad. He mixes it up well, good takedowns, and he might just ragdoll Edwards, to be honest, but we'll see. Early prediction, I'd probably go Brady by decision, just because I think he's going to be able to mix it up a lot better. But all of those announcements are very interesting. It makes me happy to talk about MMA. It makes me happy to talk about UFC. It makes me happy, makes me smile, very, very much so. And so let me know your thoughts about these announcements down below, and I'll see you soon, hopefully. I will. I think.